You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to Watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is July 1, 2021. Hard to believe we actually made it. Things are returning to semi-normal. I just went on a whirlwind trip. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Denver, Wyoming, and wound up in Las Vegas, otherwise known as The Meadows, Sin City, or Lost Wages. And it was a great trip. The only thing different was in the airport and on the airplane, you had to wear a mask somewhat on the airplane. If you were drinking or eating, then you didn't have to wear one. So like I had a close to 45-minute drink and an hour and a half long meal just to milk it for all it was worth. Have you traveled lately? What is your experience? Why don't you send me an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Right now, you know we love real estate. Some of my biggest coups, my biggest windfalls have come from real estate. And I like to say I had no idea what I was doing. Imagine what I could have done if I actually knew what I was doing with real estate. But until I really got into the back office, the finances of real estate, the cash flow, the tax benefits, I really didn't know anything. But the person you're about to hear from has got, I don't want to call it a shortcut, but he's got a means for you to acquire wealth in real estate. You just have to put the labor in. You got to invest the sweat equity, and you can make money without a lot of capital. And that's what so many of you out there are seeking to do, because you might not have it, or it's invested in high-tech stocks, which are doing nothing but going up. I understand all that. Maybe you're in cryptocurrencies and you're thinking, maybe it's time to leave the crypto space for a little while. Let Bitcoin take its breather, go down to 17,000 and then 6,000. You take your money now, go buy some real estate. The types of properties we're talking about are lower risk. Your risk is very limited here, but I'll let Todd Toback get into that for you. Todd, it is really an honor to have you on the show. I know you have done really well in this. You're a fellow New Yorker originally. So without further ado, why don't you tell us exactly how you do it and how you've succeeded in real estate all these years?
Awesome. Well, first of all, Kerry, I just love the mission of your show. The idea of generating a huge upside with very, very little downside resonates with me very, very much. And I think when you're first getting started out, or you don't have a lot of capital, that's your only option, right? You're looking for upside with very little downside, really, because you don't have a whole lot to start with. But for me, how I got in this business, I was actually working in corporate America. I started out selling Viagra for Pfizer when it first came out. Yeah, you heard that right. I was selling erection pills. My first job out of college was actually a complete blast, right? It was a ton of fun, but the competition was stiff, but sales were up. So only about 50% of people pick up on that. But, I was in corporate America and I was living in Santa Barbara at the time. I just moved to California, and I had gotten one of my friends hired into the company that I was working at. And I had a great boss and mentor and manager, and his name was Derek. And, he poured a lot into me. But what happened was, when I saw my friend got hired, they brought him in at $18,000 higher salary than I was making. And I was already working there for like 2 years.
Hey, welcome to corporate America. They think nothing of giving you the shaft. You're doing a great job. You're coming in every day. You're working long hours, really slaving for the company. And then they hire your future replacement, and they give that person substantially more money than you. And that's just what you come to expect. So at that point, you said, you know what, there's got to be a better way. And like you said, the competition was getting stiff. So you have to find something else. And honestly, look, on a nice real estate deal where I got a huge upside and I signed that agreement, I think that's a better aphrodisiac than any pill that any pharmaceutical manufacturer is peddling these days.
Well, that just leads me to, the next phase in this journey, because my boss, put his arm around me and I was like, hey, Derek, I need a raise. I was like, I love you. I love working here, but like, look at just what happened. So he put his arm around me, says, Todd, I'm going to protect you from this, right? I'm not going to submit this request. You're going to look immature and you are just going to look foolish. And so let me protect you. So I got in my car. I was really embarrassed, Kerry, kind of like shamed. And then that kind of turned into anger and motivation. And I was driving on the 101 freeway. If you've ever been to California, that's on the coast.
I wish I didn't know it, but I do know it. That's as fun as being underpaid by your employer.
Well, at this point, there was no traffic, right? And so I'm driving along the coast and I see a Barnes & Noble's bookstore and something said pull over. So I swerved past 3 lanes of traffic. Some guy gave me the finger, but I made it off the exit. I ran into the bookstore, was drawn to the real estate section, Kerry, picked up a book called Multiple Streams of Income by Robert Allen, read the whole thing in 2 days. And one of the things that I got from this book was that you have to find a motivated seller, someone who's got a problem, who owns a property where you live, but they live out of the area. And so I really took that to heart. I went down to the county recorders, where this is where all the data was. Now the data is so much easier to find, but back it's all online, right? Back in 2002, this wasn't the case. So I had to go down there. I brought some bagels and donuts to the lady who worked there. And this was actually one of the skills that I had from my pharmaceutical days is that you take a little bit of it from everywhere. And she helped me basically bring out these big catalogs. And so I hand wrote down everyone who lived in my condo complex, who lived out of the area. And I found 26 people. Sent out 26 letters. I prayed over the letters. And I was like, man, just, please let there be just one deal in here. I got one phone call from a motivated couple. They lived in Bakersfield, California, which was like 3 hours out of the way. I met with them face to face. My heart was beating through my chest. I had no idea what I was doing. I had the wrong contracts, but I fumbled my way through the negotiation. And long story short, I locked up the condo for $285,000 and I knew it was worth more than that. So at that point, I didn't know how I was going to come up with the money. I didn't know that you could actually wholesale a contract, sell this piece of paper, but I started looking for money. And so I asked my father, he said no, nicely, right? I asked some friends, they said no. One of my other siblings, they said no. And then I asked my brother-in-law, and he actually was from the area and he was like, oh yeah, I'm in. So he funded the deal. We bought it. We sold it 45 days later from front to back. We made $80,000. I got 40, he got 40. And I was like, this is it, right? That was the new aphrodisiac. And I was pumped up. And I knew from there that I was never going to have to rely on corporate America to generate money, right? Fast forward to today, I've done over 1,200 of these deals. I've bought some, I've wholesaled some, I've fixed and flipped some, I've kept some, but long story short, it's all about the art of generating leads, finding motivated sellers, locking up that contract, right? Locking up that deal with little to no risk, and then figuring out how to maximize the profit on this, Kerry. So that's my story.
All right. Well, that's a great story indeed. And now you're teaching other people how to do this, Todd?
I've been known to teach other people on occasion. So one of the things that I really am passionate about is I see people who really thrive in this business and people who struggle in this business, Kerry. And I can tell you that the ones who thrive are the ones who understand that you have to talk to sellers, right? And that you have to convert those sellers into contracts and move them. They're in a place where they are frustrated and hurting and tired and they don't know what to do, right? And most likely it's because they procrastinated on a situation. So your job is to be able to move them from point A to point B where they want to go, right? Not where you want them to go, but where they want to go, whether it's doing business with you or whether it's doing business with somebody else. But the sooner that you can get them there and start separating the people who should be doing business with someone else versus doing business with you, that's the key, right? You're going to make a ton of money when you could find the people who you can help and then spend your time with those people.
All right. So now let's fast forward. We're starting to emerge from the pandemic. And really, we've got a ton of landlords out there who are not getting paid by their tenant, rightfully so, under the law, under the moratorium, eviction moratorium, foreclosure moratorium. They're in a world of pain. Has this really upped the game for you and really opened up floodgates of opportunity?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Doré Copper Mining is a premier, near-term, high-grade copper and gold redevelopment opportunity with tremendous exploration potential only 14 kilometers from the town of Chibougamau in mine-friendly Quebec. Doré Copper is debt-free and owns a 2,700-ton-per-day mill with an 8 million-ton tailings facility ready to be used. There is already power to site and it is accessible by paved highway and rail. Doré Copper aims to produce a profitable hub-and-spoke operation of over 100,000 gold equivalent ounces per year or over 60 million pounds of copper equivalent by 2024. Because of the existing infrastructure and location, a low capex is anticipated to recommence production. Doré Copper trades under DCMC in Toronto and under DRCMF on the OTC. To learn more, go to dorecopper.com. That's dorecopper.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
You know, time will tell. Right now, the real estate market has been more competitive than ever, right? This is the second most competitive I've ever seen the market since 2001. So back in 2006, it was really, really crazy. Right now, it is just as crazy. I keep hearing about the moratorium and the eviction and this wave of distress that's going to be, coming. I hear the media saying that, but I'm just not seeing it right now yet. Now, I will tell you that I've seen a little slowdown in the last 3 weeks, right? But nothing crazy, just a little slowdown. So whether the distress is coming or not, I always tell our team, be prepared. Go out there, generate leads, talk to motivated sellers, and the deals will come. Put your head down. So is it going to come? If it does come, we will be prepared and we can help even more people. If it doesn't, look, there are still lots of motivated sellers out there to help. So every day my message is generate leads, talk to sellers, convert it to a contract, and whatever the market is doing, okay, keep moving forward. Just limit your downside.
All right. So when you're looking for properties, do you favor any particular geographical area? Because I would think California probably has more risks in certain ways than does, say, Florida and other southern states. What's your geographical frame here?
Well, for me, I do business in San Diego and I do business in South Florida. And so I will go where the business takes us, right? So I am geographically agnostic. And one of my mentors is Sam Zell, and he is industry agnostic. And I learned that from him. You always want to have a huge upside for a little downside. You want to find the opportunity and then go there. Right. So right now, this is where the opportunity is for me, mostly because, my teams are there. We know the markets and they're generating for us. Right. The second that stops, right, we move. But in terms of risks, when we lock up a house under contract to purchase, we can sell that contract for little to no risk. Right. So that's the great part. It doesn't matter the geographical area. If we decide not to move forward with that purchase agreement, there's not a whole lot of money that you have to put up. That's the exciting part about what we do, Kerry. Right. So, the geographic, it doesn't matter from a risk perspective, but I can tell you that it's easier to get deals in your tertiary markets. So if you're in like an Alabama or a Georgia or a Ohio, right? That's a lot easier to get deals than it would be like a California, a Florida, a New York, San Francisco. And I know I mix states and cities there, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, but on the other hand, I will tell you that the upside is bigger in those big metros, right? I mean, you can make, $150,000 on one deal in San Diego or in San Francisco, versus it's a lot tougher to do that if you are in, some of those tertiary markets. So it's either a volume game or a bigger deal game.
And how much can you make on a particular deal at this point?
Me in particular, or someone who's brand new?
Somebody getting into the business. What should you strive to make on a particular deal?
Well, one of the things I say is you got to change your mindset to stretch it, right? So and I'll give you exact number here, Kerry, right? But you are going to negotiate whatever you think that you deserve. And so that was part of how I train people is if you think that you are, worth $10,000, you will find that almost all your deals are around $10,000 magically, right? That's what you negotiate with the seller. That's what you negotiate with the buyer. And that's how they come out, right? Some people, their number is 5. Sometimes their number is 25. Sometimes it's 50. Right. But, you always have to be working on that number and stretching that of what you believe that you're worth. Right. In our company, our average deal size is somewhere around 32,500. Right. So 32,000, that's our average deal size. And we're always trying to push that and increase that. And that's on a single family residence. We do buy and hold on mobile home parks. Right. So we don't wholesale mobile home parks, we buy and hold them. So I'm just talking about single family residences specifically in this model that we're talking about. 32.5 is what we average in our company. We're doing one deal right now that's about 70. We're doing another one right now that we thought we were going to make a lot more, and we're going to make $3,000. Right. I wish we can get out of that one, but we're just going to finish it to close the deal and keep the seller happy.
You got to eat some dirt here.
Sometimes you eat some dirt, right? I mean, I say that we never do deals like that unless obviously we're at the finish line and something happens, and obviously we've got to keep a commitment. So that's what we're going to do on that last one. But we usually don't get into any kind of deal unless we're going to make at least 25,000.
All right, and I think that's a reasonable sum. What's the best deal you ever made?
On a single family deal or on a commercial?
On a single family.
My all-time best was $243,000 on a single-family deal in La Mesa, California.
Very cool. Well, that's impressive. All right, and so 3 pieces of advice you give to somebody who is getting into this wholesale game.
Okay. Number 1, focus on one person. Okay, focus on one person. My recommendation, of course, is check out my podcast, right? It's a No Limits Real Estate Investing podcast. 90% of what I talk about there is wholesaling. So you want to laser focus on one instructor. If it's not me, go listen to somebody else and focus on that person. I don't care, but don't take, bits and pieces of a bunch of free information and try to puzzle it together. That's a giant mess. Number 2, your job is to generate leads and then convert those leads into contract, right? So understand that your job is to generate leads, convert them into contracts, and then sell them for maximum profit, right? So understand the strategy and don't overcomplicate it, right? 1, generate leads. 2, convert them on the contract. And 3, convert them for maximum profit. So understand that. Okay. And then 3 is that don't lose focus, right? Keep doing that over and 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 over again. And you could have a business that operates with very, very little risk that generates a very high 6-figure, maybe even a 7-figure income net to you every single year, year after year after year.
All right. Well, I like that. Hey, if you've got any questions for Todd, send an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. I'll forward them off to you, Todd, and get them an answer. And while you're at it, go to our website, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, and please sign up for your free newsletter. We send them out once a week. I've kind of taken a bit of a hiatus lately, but we're getting back into it. So I will get it out probably in the next week or so. Todd, is really enlightening speaking to you. I know I get emails from wholesalers all over Florida. I know it's a vibrant market and there's a great profit potential in there. And hey, after your first deal and you make 10, 20,000, you can pretty much toss out the Viagra because you found a more effective and definitely easier on your body way to achieve the same result. We appreciate you coming on. Good luck. Talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Kerry.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.